Hello everyone, I hope you're all having a good day. Thank you so much to everyone that has purchased one of our spring kits. They should be on their way to you very soon, if not already on their way. I've actually released a few more because they've proved really popular, so thank you so much. But I thought I would just, instead of sending a private tutorial to anyone that's purchased, just to share the video on here, and then if you're keen to kind of go and crack on and do one yourself, there might be a few left on our website. So today I'm going to be demonstrating the Bridgerton Wreath, obviously name inspired by the series, which we're all obsessed by. But I often get asked, like, where do you get inspired by? And I love fashion and material, and I've sort of picked out colours of the dresses. So the Featherington Wreath is more touches of yellow, because they, as a family, tend to wear quite a lot of yellow. And the Bridgerton one has it's a bit more softer with the pinks. So I'm just going to show you a very straightforward demonstration of how to create a wreath. As ever, I'm trying to move away from using any floral foam at school, even the foam that Oasis have bought out, which says it's biodegradable, takes a very long time to break down and has to be in extreme circumstances. So wherever possible, I'm just not using foam, full stop. So I sort of favour using a wreath such as this. So it's a grapevine wreath. The one I'm actually sending out, I think, is 40 centimetres, so it's a really nice size one. And also, once you kind of fancy a change, it's a really lovely base to work with. These are obviously all dried, so they will last and last. The colours will start to fade after quite a few months. But when you are ready for a change, as I said, you can just take it off and redecorate it. So the first step is to take your string and just to attach it to the top. So this is where you're going to attach it to your door. So you just want to tie it in a knot like so, and then either leave these loose or you can tie it in another little knot at the top like this, and then you can hang it on a hook. So that's just a good mark to sort of go by. I've got binding reel here, reel wire that we're going to be using. But the first step to do, and I would sort of suggest, is maybe clear your workbench and start to create little bunches. So I'm going to do it as I go along, just for demonstration purpose, but it's probably a good idea to just get all of your materials out in front of you and start to create little bunches. So we've got two different types of eucalyptus. When you're prepping them, it's a good idea, to be honest, actually, with everything. So just clean the stems, have a nice bare stem. And then this is just the really fun part. So we've got wheat here that I'm just going to pop on top like so. You kind of want to get all the stems roughly the same length. Take some of these daisies. The dried daisies, which are super, super pretty, are quite delicate. So I would say just be kind of careful when handling them. Some things are more robust than others. Lavender as well, which already is just making this room smell pretty amazing. And you could just make, I'm trying to think how many bunches I usually do, but I think by getting maybe 10 together would be quite a good way of starting. This is just Gypsophilia, which is dried. I always prefer it once it's dried. So a bunch kind of that size is perfect. And then you want to take your grapevine wreath and just place it. You're going to start working from the top. So I'm going to just overlap the string so we can't see it. Pop it on to your wreath like that. So if you've made a Christmas wreath before, it's quite similar in that sort of respect. So you're going to bring the stems, you're placing them on that angle like that, and you're bringing the stems towards the center of your wreath frame. And then you're going to take your wire, this wire here, place it over, and you can just wrap it around the stems once, pulling it really tight. And then once more. With the end here, you can just tie it or just push it into the wreath frame. That's what's brilliant about these types of frames, is that there's always something that you can kind of attach things to. And you just want to make sure, because these are going to go outside, that they are really, really secure. And it's on already just like that. Have a little play, you can kind of bring bits out. With the very big eucalyptus, this is the silver dollar, I just think little sprigs like this are absolutely fine. So once you've kind of made up your bunches, if you do it before, it will be quite quick to place it on. We've got some sea lavender here, or Lemonian, which again is just a nice soft touch. And I just think wreaths are such a lovely thing. At the moment, there's not much that we can do. So I did say actually that this is a really great one to do with kids as well, to kind of get them involved. So when you're ready to place your next one on, you want to do the same, so create a nice little bunch like that. And then you just want to go in at that same angle, like this, bringing the stems towards the center of the wreath. But you just want to be mindful and make sure you cover up the previous mechanics. So there's the previous mechanics there, and I'm just going to bring that in and cover it up. And place it very gently down, and then go around my stems once, pulling this really tightly, and once more. So it's starting to build up like that. And you can place it down on your workbench and fan everything out, so we can really see anything. And if you're worried and sort of can't see all the ingredients, just by fanning it out, you're going to be able to see a lot more. So I'm going to take another one. And the idea is to make sure that every single cluster that you put on is different. I don't think you need to I think it would be quite hard to make them all exactly the same. So I think it's absolutely fine to make them all different, all individual. Some of these brighter ones, even just by adding sort of one in like that, just really lifts the colour. But yeah, as I said, if you prefer to get all your bunches together at the beginning, I think that would be quite a nice way to do it as well. So nice clean stems again, and we're going to bring it in at that angle, coming in, covering up the previous one's stems, and just bringing your wire around. And make sure you pull this wire really tightly, because the last thing we don't want anything falling out, especially like the weather isn't great at the moment, and we don't want if it's windy, it's better that it falls out now and we can go over than when it's outside. Okay, I'm going to just pause the video. I'm going to add some more on, and then we will come back towards the end. So as you can see, I've continued to add more clusters going all the way around, so bringing them in at that angle, making sure that the stems are coming towards the centre of the frame, and then adding the next one on in exactly the same way, and just overlapping it slightly so that the stems and the mechanics are covered. Then once they're securely fastened with your wire, just fan them out to make sure that you can see everything. It's a good idea to keep holding your wreath back like that so you can see. I think if you're working over it like that, you don't get quite the right look. So if you hold it up, you can definitely see it in a different perspective, and you can just pull things out and have a little fiddle with them. Here I've actually just prepped my last two bunches, so I'm going to attach those now. So just making sure that the stems are all roughly the same length. Oops. That one, and then doing exactly the same thing, so bringing them on at that angle, covering up the mechanics of the previous one, going around the stems once, pulling it really tight, and again, and possibly a third time for just good luck, and then fanning it out like so. And then for your last one, you want to do it in exactly the same way. as you've been doing for all the others. I wish there was a button that you could smell this wreath, because it's so lovely and relaxing. Okay. So again, just making sure that the ends are nice and neat. Adding it on in the same way, so at that angle, bring the stems in and go over once, twice and 3 times, like so. Fan out, and there you can see your wreath, your half dried wreath. Then you want to take your wire and get your scissors, cut it off, and then you want to make sure that you dig it into the frame and then just tie it on to one of the branches. So it's a bit like sewing this bit, but it is important that it is actually securely in that frame and not just, and definitely sort of twisted around one of the vines, and then you can just push it right into the centre, like so. Then you're going to take your ribbon. So for the Bridgerton one, we have this nice velvet, very feminine velvet ribbon. And to make the bow, you just want to roughly hold it in the centre, do a loop and pinch it, and do the same loop like that on the other side. And then you can take your wire and just push the end around. You can go around a couple of times where you've pinched it, and then you can just twist it together like that. There's obviously different ways that you can make bows. This is just the way that I do it. And then you're going to snip that off, place it where you want to go, but it is important that you cover the mechanics of your last cluster, and then take your wire around and either push it into the frame, or again just find a little sort of branch that you can just wire it on to be doubly secure, like that, and then push the end back into the frame, like so. So there you have the wreath. In terms of how to keep it, these are better to be outside. You can keep them inside. The only thing that will happen is the eucalyptus will dry quicker than it will outside. The eucalyptus, once it's dry, it goes through a crispy texture. So that's perfectly normal. I love it. I keep masses of bunches of eucalyptus in my house for about at least 6 months. And then all that will happen after a while is the colours will start to fade, and then when you're ready to change it, you can just take them off and reuse the frame. But thank you so much for watching. As I said, if you are keen and haven't purchased one of the Bridgerton wreaths yet, then please do check out our website. There's a link in the bio to the shop, and we'll get those sent out towards the end of February. Thanks for watching. Have a wonderful day.